This is the Bushmaster ACR. ACR stands for Adaptive Combat Rifle. It is chambered in 5.56. It has ambidextrous controls, a folding stock, and it has an almost non-existent recoil. So I have the Bushmaster ACR right here. It has the collapsible folding stock. It is also collapsible. You take these two buttons on either side and you can push those in and adjust it up and down to fit your shoulder. We've got a sling attachment here. Has ambidextrous safety, ambidextrous mag release. Your bolt catch is right here at the bottom. It has a very unique bolt catch so that when you pull the bolt back, you lift up on this button and the bolt stays in place. To send the bolt back down, you simply press down and the bolt snaps back in place. So this is just your standard forward grip. It's a mag pull MOE, and I have a Hawke scope on it. This was a decent price scope. I think I paid about $130 for it, and it works well for what I wanted it to, so I'm pretty impressed with that. I'm not looking for anything super fancy on this, and you know, I hear a lot of people dog this rifle, but I mean, I'm just super impressed with it. Alright, YouTube, so we got Matt. He's right over here. He's going to test out my Bushmaster ACR. He's shot it like one time before at the range, and I think he liked it for the most part, but we'll get his opinion on it a little bit later. You got your cheek rest right here, and it does adjust. You can pull back on it, pop it up, push it back in, and it'll heighten the cheek rest for you so you can get a good look down your scope if you got a scope on there. If you're running iron sights on it, I don't think you really need it. So the stock is adjustable like I just showed you, but also the stock is collapsible, and it doesn't have anything that holds it in place. It's a little loose. It just, I think it's like it's not really magnetic, but it has just a little bit of tension that keeps it in place. You can't see it, but on the inside right here there's a storage compartment for a battery, and very easily just locks back in place.
Funny little story about that, if I may cut in. It was I remember we went to our indoor range that we go to for the first time, and it was the first time I shot Chad's rifle with him, and he showed me the fact that you can, you know, collapse the stock, and I was like, that's interesting. You ever shot it like that? And he kind of looked at me and said, nope. So we were just getting ready to shoot it, and we were gonna get some shots of him shooting it like that for the first time, I think, and he kind of backed out of it, and I was like, before we left, it was getting close for time for us to leave, and I was like, man, I want to fire some shots just like that. And you know, I got up there and I tried to psych myself into it. I did squeeze off some rounds, but let me just tell you, if you ever shoot a rifle of this caliber with the stock collapsed, it can be quite frightening. Not having it pressed back into something, you're gonna be afraid that it's gonna fly up and bust you in the face.
So I guess the best way that you would need to shoot something like this is more like a pistol, you know, arms all the way out in front of you in a locked position, and because you don't want to keep it, you know, close back up on you if you got a scope, because that scope could come back and pop you in the eye. But were you done? You have something else you were going to say?
Yeah, we finally fired off a couple of rounds that way, and like I said, the first few that you squeeze off, that might be a little terrifying, but then once you get past that first few, it should feel pretty smooth, and you know you've got a good rhythm going, and you're good to go.
All right, so moving forward on the features, we've got an ambidextrous safety. You have an ambidextrous mag release right here, and the bolt catch, which I demonstrated earlier. I'm not going to go into that again, but basically you pull back on the bolt and you lift up on this little switch right here, and it catches the bolt in place right about here. And to release the bolt, you simply press down. I find it easier to take my middle finger and push down on the bolt to release it. It has a little bit more downforce on it. It's easier to maneuver that way. So this gun resembles an FN SCAR, which is what I originally wanted to purchase, but that was out of my price range. I just couldn't do it. So this was a little bit cheaper, and it was the next best thing, so I thought. So I decided to give it a shot, and I was really just hoping and wishing and praying that you know, it would turn out the way that I wanted it to, and it hasn't let me down so far. I had trouble cycling like maybe 2 rounds through it, which were reloads, so I don't know if it was the gun or the ammunition, but anytime I've ever shot, you know, brand new ammo out of it, I've never had a problem. And the handguard you can change out. You can get this polymer one, which came stock, and you can switch it out to an aluminum one, which has your 3 rails on either side and underneath.
But with the scope, it's a really clear scope, and with that, when you have a really smooth recoil and one that doesn't make you kick all the way back here, it was just so flush. I mean, once he gets this thing sighted in, it'll be dead on.
So yeah, right now I think the scope is pretty accurate on left to right movement, but up and down, I think it's still set just a little bit too high. So the only thing I have to keep in mind when I'm shooting is just aim a little bit lower than what I'm looking at. So if I want to hit the top of something, then I aim for like the middle top area, if that makes sense, of whatever my target is. So number rating, what would you get it out of 5 stars?
Out of 5 stars? I'd have to give it a 4 out of 5, like you said, because with it being lightweight, and I mean, my gun is extremely heavy, so this is a lightweight gun. The kick is flush. You've done yourself a real good job of getting you a nice sight. As far as the features and the functions, is the base rifle with the receiver and everything, it's very simple. I have yet to see you have a problem with it. It wasn't problematic for me.
The ACR stands for Adaptive Combat Rifle, and the purpose of that, the meaning behind that, is that you can pop your handguard off right here, and there is a wrench mechanism, so you fold down the wrench and you press in the little detent, and then you twist that wrench and your barrel slides off, and you're able to put in a barrel of a different caliber. Say you wanted to shoot 7.62, you could put that on there. Unfortunately, Bushmaster has been a little slow about getting us those different caliber conversions. At this point, I don't have any desire of shooting 7.62. This is a multi-cal, and what that means is it shoots, it is chambered in a 5.56, and you can also shoot 2.23 through it as well, because a 5.56 is just a hair bigger than a 2.23.